Hello, everybody, and welcome to my room, and welcome back. I know that I've been sort of missing in action. The last part of last year was there was just a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. So I'm glad to be back, and I'm just going to be posting stuff on a regular basis. I'm not going to worry about fancy intros and fancy editing unless I'm going to do something that is very long. I just want to, chat with you guys and get my stuff up and go from there. When I get as many followers as Parlogram, then I can do it. I love that guy. Anyways, first off, I want to give my thoughts on the Anthology CD set and the new version of the Anthology series that's on Disney Plus. Let me get that out of the way here first. A lot of people have been complaining about certain things that were in the DVD set going back to the late 90s, the VHS, Laserdisc set as well, that wasn't in the Disney Plus version. They did do some editing. Some things they did due to political correctness, which I don't agree with. I really don't agree with. I mean, it is what it is, It's a different time. You put a little disclosure at the beginning, fine, So you know what they are. John's daft, clapping and the whole thing about gay-looking boys in Paris. I don't agree with that. They did add some things, though, which I liked. This is now, let's say, the third cut of the anthology. The third cut. You have the version that originally aired on television in the week of Thanksgiving, 1995. Then you have the version that went to home video, the extended edition. They did some tweaks there as well. Like the one thing that disappointed me is in the television version, when Paul was talking about the screaming, he had said, personally, I don't think it was that bad because the screaming covered up a multitude of sins. We were badly out of tune. We couldn't hear it. They couldn't hear it. They cut that section, that second part of that statement out about it covered a multitude of sins. That's back in this version. So I'm very happy about that. I like the new bonus episode. I really thought that was moving to see them working on the new songs. That was very moving. So let's put it like this. I really didn't mind this sort of new version. Let's call it what it is. It's the new version of the anthology. I wish they did keep some, things in there. They took some things out, but they added some things. So I like the additions. The only main disappointment is those cuts due to political correctness. Things were what they were. They said what they said. We're not perfect human beings. The Beatles weren't perfect human beings. Part of the reason why I think the anthology project worked so well was taking the Beatles off the stained glass window. That was the main thing I liked about it. We're taking them off the stained glass window, whereas other icons like Michael Jackson and Elvis, people want to keep them up on that pedestal. The Beatles are like, no, take us off, warts and all. And that's what I like. The anthology CD sets, the new remastering of the first three. I like the new remastering. They really did a good job in, cleaning up the two Quarrymen tracks. That'll Be the Day and In Spite of All the Danger. Those sound so crystal clear now, while still keeping the slight period edge. Again, the one thing I wish they did do that was complained about at the time, that they didn't do, is take off that narration during the intro of certain songs, like at the beginning of My Bonnie. They still kept that. I'm like, you could have separated that. You could have had Paul's voiceover, then boom, go into My Bonnie with the intro. The intro to My Bonnie is still playing underneath what Paul said about about doing a recording with Tony Sheridan. The remastering is good. The fourth disc, I'm not really complaining about, because the first half was stuff that we didn't hear. It would have been nice to get, things that the bootleggers have that that we've already have on the box sets. But yes, they are catering towards the casual fans or the fans who just came aboard. And yeah, a lot of people didn't buy every single box set that's out there. So it's good to have some of, some new stuff and sort of a greatest hits of the box sets. I don't think it was a waste of money, although a lot of people are saying that. But again, I tell people, look, if you want the stuff that we keep talking about, you got to buy it. Unfortunately, you got to buy it. You got to show that there's interest in this stuff, because if not, they'll just say, "Oh, okay, it didn't sell." And again, I made this example before, and when we say, "Well, it didn't sell because we wanted XYZ," doesn't matter. Didn't sell. That's the way the business people go and look at it. Statements that Giles Martin had made about, again, this is the same thing Derek Taylor said after Anthology 3 came out. The cupboard is now bare. No. Because what I would have liked on the Anthology 4 would have been the full-length version of Flying, when it was Aerial Tour Instrumental. I would have liked officially the version of Flying that has the Dixieland jazz setting from the Mellotron, and it's a recording from a Mellotron. They press the key and they're adjusting the chords. George used the same backing on Wonderwall music, and there's a bit of it on John and Yoko's Two Virgins. So it's from a Mellotron. And it would have been nice to have that. It would have been nice if they went and released the complete 8-minute version of It's All Too Much. And of course, we still know there's been no official release of Jesse's Dream from Magical Mystery Tour, which is in the movie. So I guess that counts, but you can barely hear it. They recorded it in private. And there's still no official release of Shirley's Wild Accordion, other than the snippet you hear in the bonus stuff of Magical Mystery Tour, the DVD. So the cupboard's not bare. Do I want to hear the 34-minute version of Helter Skelter? No, because I got the 12-minute version that's on the White Album box set. It's the same thing. To quote Mark Lewison, play the 12-minute version twice to get a sense of the half-hour version of Helter Skelter. So the cupboard's not bare. The cupboard is not bare. There's more stuff that could be done. They could do a bootleg series like what Dylan has. So I don't buy that one bit, that the cupboard's bare and we're at the end of unreleased stuff. No, there's more out there. But I mean, do we need every single take of every single song? Some people might say yes. I don't think so. I would like Carnival of Light, just so I could finally say I've heard it. Everybody's been asking for it. Put it out there already. Put it out there. Even put it out as a streaming thing, okay? Fine, that it's out there. So those are my thoughts on the Anthology, the new sets, and the new cut of the series on Disney+. A brief word now about the Fest For Beatlefans. If anybody has gone to the Fest For Beatlefans, I was going in 1987 during 20th anniversary of Sgt. Pepper. I lived in Chicago, so it was easy for me. I wasn't able to go all the time when I moved to Arizona. So there's no Fest for Beatlefans this year. They're saying that it will be back next year. They're going to retool it or whatever they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do. Some people are speculating that this is the end of the Fest for Beatlefans. I really do think the end, not really an end, but things changed in the 2000s when Neil Espinal sued the Lapidos, Mark and Carol Lapidos, for copyright stuff. And they had to, first off, it was called, Beatlefest since it started in 1973-74. Then they had to change it to the Fest for Beatlefans. Then they couldn't show the movies anymore in the Grand Ballroom like they used to. Certain sellers in the flea market couldn't be there anymore. And the last time I went, which was in LA, bless Michelle Joni's heart, but the Beatles ashram and the affirmations and all of that stuff, I could do without that. So I really do hope, what I would like it to be is, yes, you know what? Dare I say it? Bring a corporate sponsorship in, like Comic-Con has, okay? Because you might be able to then get more things. Bring more people in. And out here in Arizona, we have what's called Phoenix Fan Fusion, because we could no longer be called Comic-Con out here, because the actual Comic-Con people copyrighted it. But there's still corporate sponsorship and a lot of great guests that come here, like Sean Astin of Lord of the Rings. So maybe look at that route. Dare I say corporate sponsorship? I don't know. But it's worth a thought if we're going to move the Fest for Beatlefans forward. And I think it should be moved forward. Give me some of your thoughts on something I've talked about, on the things I've talked about here. But it's great to be back with you. I'm going to get back to posting other content about movies and other things. So thanks for sticking with me, guys. And I really appreciate you. And I'll be talking to you soon.